Hello and welcome to my ITSL game versus Fabrizio Malonni, who I will be facing as the USSR. And what we get here is an absolutely average hand. I would say it's actually a little bit less than average. It has only one playable free op, excluding containment, which will be playable but only at the end of the turn. No good events 2, however Cambridge 5, as random as it is, it may provide some useful information and maybe even access if I get lucky. And if not, then it's just a useless headline. Not that I have better alternatives, since I don't want to play Fiddle or Korean War, and Olympic Games are random and not really useful right now. But doesn't matter anyway. Well, okay. I'm glad I didn't try headlining Suez in this case. I guess I will just go for Iran. Alright. This is a really good roll. But also a really important one too, so I'm glad it worked. But improves my situation significantly. Okay. So far his hand looks way better, but his roll was way worse. Since Suez is gone, I unfortunately cannot kick him out of Israel. I don't expect him to have Middle East scoring. And I don't have Thailand access, so I kind of need to get to Pakistan. Going through Afghanistan looks pointless, like a waste. So I could either go through Afghanistan or I could coup Panama and then go to Iran. And those options don't look very good. I could also take a pause here and space US-Japan. However, it may be a decent hold if I get UN intervention turn 2. Also, he cannot really go to Thailand before lowering the DEFCON. Alright, I think I will start with taking Iraq in this case. If he wants to lower the DEFCON, then I will let him coup my fully taken Iraq. The probability of him succeeding in a significant way is not real. Interesting. Looks like he doesn't want... I don't understand. I don't think he's going... Maybe he's going for Pak... No, this doesn't make sense. I don't think so. At least. I will go for Afghanistan in this case. As much as it hurts, I think this is the most reliable way of getting Pakistan. If he breaks Iraq now, I don't even think I care. I will just take Pakistan, and then if he takes Iran, I can realign him. Or coup at that point, but I don't think I will be making the situation easier for him by lowering the DEFCON myself. NATO, okay, his hand is pretty crazy. 2 neutral 4-ups, a 3-up and defectors. Basically as good as it gets. Except for Perch, yet. Him taking Malaysia is an interesting choice. That kind of suggests he may have Asia, because that looks like This kind of looks like he's ensuring that even if I take Pakistan, he can safely drop Asia for free. Almost for free. But I cannot guarantee that. Okay, CIA. Glad to see this gone. Now I will give him an opportunity to take Korea if he does actually have a third 4-up, which would be pretty crazy but not impossible. If he does take it, then I can still equalize by taking... I don't even need to equalize, it would still be equal actually. So that actually doesn't matter. Whoa! Right, this is actually fine. I will take India. I could take Syria too. That would be advisable. However, I kind of don't want to let him go to India. Maybe it's not that bad though, especially with Indo-Pakistani war not being here. I think this is debatable. I will take Syria. It doesn't look like I can realistically compete when it comes to the country count in Asia, so I will not put my life on the line for India here. Really interesting choice with Nazi scientists there. I can't say that I fully understand it. It would be more reasonable had I been in space already. But with this situation, I think it was a weird decision. Similarly with this socialist government's play, he could have spaced them for potential 2VPs and he... Oh, okay, to be fair, he had containment, so that's a good reason. Okay, this is another really questionable hand. There's a good chance I'm getting purged, which would be a tragedy. However, DEFCON will be at 4, so I will try to take advantage out of the situation with Thailand and Vietnam revolts. I will go for that headline. Uh-oh. Well, not optimal, but I guess it could have been worse. This was a pretty dangerous hand to get 5-year planned. And this is a really tough choice. So obviously the intuitive move is to coup Thailand with China. After 5-year plan, I think I kind of have to play the China card here. It would be really tough to avoid that. And my chances of success are great. They are rarely this good when it comes to Thailand. I will go for it. Whew. I thank God I used China and not literally anything else. I think I may be kind of forced to give up Marshall here, as unfortunate as it is. Unless he coups. Because once again, the DEFCON is not being lowered by me anytime soon. Unless I play duck and cover to do that, but I'm not queuing for sure. Alright. I really do hate giving Marshall here, but my hand forces me to heavily prioritize Asia, and I'm not convinced that giving up duck and cover would be significantly less painful. So I will just let Marshall plan go. I'm also really interested in seeing his hand, because like Italy is overprotected forever. It gets brushed or it doesn't change ownership anyway, and he may have the goal in his hand, so maybe putting one into France is not that painful. It's like it sucks to admit, but sometimes as the USSR you just don't get to play in Europe at all, and I think this may be just one of those games. I don't feel like I had a real opportunity to strike at Europe so far, and I wouldn't be surprised if this opportunity never came during this game. Yeah, this is fine. I can and I will take advantage of my Vietnam bonus. However, I could start with South Korea. Sure, let's do that actually. Now it's becoming really hard for him to find new sources of countries. If he's really committed, he could go for Taiwan with a 3-up, but there are not that many playable 3-ups he may have, and that's always a pretty weird investment because it looks really weird as soon as Formosan resolution stops being in play. So I think there is a good chance he's just not gonna do anything special with it. Okay, this is really nice for me. Oh, this is unfortunate, but this will just enable me to efficiently use my Vietnam Revolt's bonus and just take Thailand with an overprotection using Truman. A very, very efficient play. Now, of course, he may just break South Korea, North Korea, India, or whatnot. But every turn he uses doing that is a kind of a win for me, I would say. Also, that in Arab-Israeli war play was really risky. There was 1/3 of a chance of me really screwing his position in Middle East. This is unfortunate, but at least I get to score Asia, which is great. Now I could theoretically give up US-Japan, since Asia has been scored, but I think it would be unfortunate to do so because it grants him a 0. So I think I will do something else instead. I will just space deck and cover. UN intervention and blockade is interesting. It's so first of all, he doesn't have D-style, so it's basically a coin flip when it comes to who gets it. He probably doesn't have Europe either, because I don't think he would be waiting with it for the last move. He had Romanian. Okay, this time his hand was not that good. Okay, could I get distal and purge? I could get distal and no purge. That's something. Not gonna complain. The goal is nice, distal is great. 5-year plan is really good because that means he doesn't have this. That means I don't have to hurry with distal to dodge it. I got a bunch of red events, which is sort of significant, because then purge will hurt less. Also, Cambridge 5 is kind of guaranteed to hit as long as he does have Europe. So that's something to keep in mind. However, it doesn't work if he headlines Europe. So I think I will start with socialists, because if he just headlines Europe, which is something he may just as well do, then I will get a domination thanks to Romanian. Ooh! God damn it! Okay, so Nasser was the way to go, it seems. Yeah! Well, okay, so at least I don't get purged. There's no really good card to coup with here, annoyingly, but that's just because I really wanna play all those events. I guess Cambridge 5 is the least interesting one, after he dropped Middle East. And that's a really good roll. So I guess I'm holding the 5-year plan, which means that I either space US Japan or play it and give up Japan. Both of those options kind of suck. But honestly, I have a feeling that I will need ops really badly after I destall, so I could be forced to go for it. Truman is out. That means the goal is well, safe. However, we know he's rich, he has Warsaw Pact and Red Scar Purge. The Warsaw Pact is surprisingly annoying. That means that if I destall out of Romania, he can just give up the Warsaw Pact. And then I have to either place my influence inefficiently, or I have to retake Bulgaria or something like that, and independent Reds would be annoying once more. But as long as Warsaw Pact is there, I could be threatening to equalize Europe. I could also space independence right now. Okay, I will wait for him. I will start with this, and I will see what he does. I think that Jordan play was supposed to kind of dodge Nasser, in a sense that if he doesn't have any influence in Egypt, I cannot cut it in half. But I think it was still a mistake, letting me get Libya access right now. And I will probably be able to use it before Sadat comes. Okay, he now uses his 4-up. Okay, now everything became clear. Now the goal is not useful anymore. I'm glad he had to overprotect France to ensure that, though, so it is now clear that Europe is gone. So I will give up on it now and just get all I can in the mid-war countries. So now he has basically three options. He may drop the scoring, yep. He could have taken Mexico, or he could have gone for realignments. He chose the scoring, which is fine by me. I don't care about getting rid of independence quickly anymore, so I will just spread like that. Since Europe is gone, there is no real reason to keep the 5-year plan here. It could be more of a liability than an opportunity. Ouch! Chile, Panama. Right, this didn't work, fortunately. Let's just give him reds. Alright, let's catch access. If Sadat comes. Now he has 3 cards I don't know. I knew those 4, so his hand is a mystery. Oh! Please fail? Okay, thank you. Okay, unfortunately he gets Millops. But that's still better than winning a war. This is really... You know what? I will space it. This is a pretty risky play, but there is some value in going to space regardless, and I really dislike the idea of just solving his problems in Asia, because like after this Indo-Pakistani war, he could have Asia scoring right now, as far as I'm concerned. And I really don't want to let him get away with it so easily, if that was the case. So I think I will just do that. There is a pretty low probability of me killing myself with DEFCON because of the 5-year plan. Like if I get CIA and grain sales and no way to improve DEFCON, and he lowers it in the headline phase, like maybe then, but other than that, I'm fine. Once again, he disrespects Capture Nazi Scientist event. Nuclear subs is nice, and Olympic Games are nice. Missile Envy is of course a potential trap, so I will have to refrain from using it right now. Lone Gunman is annoying. Flower Power is great though. South African Unrest potentially good. One Small Step is very nice. Our Man in Tehran is annoying but absolutely manageable. So I guess I will be playing 5-year plan to discard the Gunman. That's the most reasonable way to take care of it. Do I want to play Missile Envy for an event on turn 1? Perhaps. There are not a lot of blue 4-ups, only NATO left. So it's not as profitable as it could have been. I could also headline the gunman now. I think that's the best play if I didn't have the 5-year plan, but I kind of want to get rid of it anyway, so I will just go for the South African unrest. Interesting. I'm glad I didn't play Mr. Envy. And I kind of regret not playing the gunman now, because that would guarantee me Nigeria. Well, I guess in this case... Okay, so in this case, Missile Envy is out of the table. One small step is a potential event. This will be played on AR7. And this will probably go to space. So I have those 3 cards to manage. Of course I want to pressure him into cooing me. So I would get some mill-ups. In this case, I guess I will just play the nuclear test ban. Take Venezuela, Libya, enter Tunisia, enter Cameroon, and see what he does with it. Whoa! DEFCON is 5! Oh my lord. Oh my, I just didn't look at it. I just assumed it's 2. Why am I so low IQ? Oh my lord. Okay, then I guess I can play the Missile Envy at least. Jesus. Okay, that was a silly way to to go about this turn. Ironically enough, my play wasn't necessarily wrong, but it was surely not the choice I made with the right state of mind. Okay, that's a miss. Ouch. Go back. Well, alright, he kind of has to choose between Nigeria, South Africa and Algeria. Because he's surely doing something about Africa. Unless he has VOA, but I doubt it. Okay, interesting. So I guess the obvious way to answer that is to do this. Brand is harmless. Well, I could play the 5-year plan now to take South Africa, but I don't want to waste it, so I will just space this. And now it is clear that I will just play one small step for ups. Okay, he got decall again. Well, Angola is still quotable despite being so overprotected. It's still a one stability country, so I think I will try to secure South American position before turn 5 instead of going for South Africa. I just realized that I kind of have to hurry with it if I want to be able to do that before the end of the turn, because it's kind of clear that he doesn't have South America scoring now, but he may have it soon. Okay, now it's really tempting to realign it now, as he grants me a potential great secondary target and Angola control if everything goes as planned. But this also means that Angola is really vulnerable to being couped next turn, so I kind of don't care. Unless he gets like grain sales or something, I think it's generally preferable to secure my position in South America because I can squeeze a lot of points out of there. Kitchen. Right. Okay, this is not a good hand, however, it has South America scoring. It also has Salt and Fidel. So I could technically go for the Purge Blockade combo. Salt also weakens Junta if he has it. Well, I don't have much choice, so I will go for this. Okay. Salt is a decent counter against the CIA. Well, he sees my hand, then he coups Nigeria, probably succeeds. What do I do then? Do I purge him or do I drop South America? Does it influence my choice? I think purge is just the best card to take here. Oh. Ooh, he failed this. This is really fortunate. Okay, I think I should purge him then. DEFCON is still at 4, but he's now under purge and sold, so him cooing anything will probably not be very convincing. Even taking a shot at Thailand with China looks really, really bad. It's like he was cooing with a free up, an overprotected to stability country. I don't think that would work. Okay, he tries anyway. That's a good call to do that before I play Camp David. That looks poorly. Okay, taking Angola here is really important. I will use NATO for that. It wasn't needed, it seems, but I feel like it was better to be safe than sorry in this case. Now he may try overtaking Nigeria. What's interesting is that he's under purge, but he kind of knows that I'm really weak. So if he plays the China card to take Nigeria over, I kind of can't do anything about it actually. I mean, not immediately. I'd probably start with taking Argentina back before he plays like junta or puppet government, if he had those and didn't play them instead of CIA for some reason. Then I would maybe try realigning South Africa. Yeah, that's another thing. So let's quickly get rid of Africa. And then we'll take care of South America. I think I will try to space first. Okay, Cuban Missile Crisis. Interesting that he didn't headline that. Sure. I just re-establish domination. Oh, that's a roll. Sure. Another try. This would be much harder for him to coup. This way I'm opting out of the space race this turn, which is sad, but I have way more useful events than cards that are playable for ops efficiently. Good one. Okay, so do I prefer to blockade him or do I prefer to force him to break one more country? Okay, the probability that he doesn't have a free up, which would be a 2-up there, is really low. And also, he surely does have China. So the only real way in which I could get this South America domination here is if he had a scoring that he was forced to play. But no, not even then, because he could just play it on his AR7 in that case. So I guess I cannot force him to let me have my South America domination. Therefore I will just drop it and hopefully blockade him now. Okay, that's not perch up, fortunately. Perch up would have been pretty sad. Fortunately for me, he fails the space roll. Interestingly enough, one of the few cards he may have had for blockade was Muslim Revolution, but he used that earlier during the turn, so the probability of him having an answer to blockade is pretty low. Okay, and I get a and a. Okay, this is a great hand. This is a really good hand. Okay, the only thing I realistically need to do this turn is to get this juicy central control / domination. Will bury you doesn't guarantee me anything because he may just have a UN intervention. Therefore, I will start with Fidel, which is a card he knows. Okay, I will allow that. The more he focuses on Asia, the better my chances of screwing him over in Central, which is essential for my strategy right now. The annoying thing is that Iran is still empty somehow, so if he goes to Pakistan, he opens up a lot of space for himself. And if he breaks Thailand, then suddenly Southeast Asia scoring becomes a real source of VPs for him. So yeah, this is probably a correct decision. Okay, now I will just go for liberation like that. He has to do something about this. If he just takes the opportunity to take Thailand or Pakistan or Iran or Korea, he just gives up the game, and I'm pretty sure he knows that. It's pretty apparent what's going on here. So I'm really interested in seeing what he's going to go for. An obvious answer may be couing Panama or Mexico. Probably Panama though. But in that case, it all depends on the roll, doesn't it? Yeah? Well, that's a good one. Unfortunately. Special is not here, so I will just let him have France. If he wants to take Iran, I will allow that. I will start by ensuring that Asia stays under my domination, at least for a while. Of course, if he retakes Pakistan with China, he's free to do so. I will gladly give up shuttle diplomacy in that case, because it won't matter anymore. Ooh, okay, he uses special now. That's annoying. God damn it. Okay, I will try defending that. It's a failure. Okay, China is back. Mexico is probably gone. What about Cuba though? Ouch. Ow! What was that for? Well, now I cannot really score Central. Okay, let's start like this maybe. Annoying. Well, let's see how rich he is and what he can afford. In the worst case for him, he's holding Asia, in which case there's not much he can do. But if he's just sitting on some playable cards, then I guess Central doesn't look at all as I hoped it would. That's an early Brezhnev, so I will assume this was his only free up. I will try Queen Guatemala. Oh, this hurts. Well, okay, this is really bad. I guess my R6 will be... What will it be actually? I'm not sure what my moves are now. I don't have time to retake Panama or anything like that. It's just... Central looks doomed. Damn. Well, congrats, I was hoping for a central control this turn, but unfortunately it turned into his domination versus my nothing, which is pretty impressive. They had to drop it before he takes Cuba if he actually had a free up somehow. Sure, fine. Now if I give it to him, Asia becomes... equal. Okay, I will just assume he may have Asia. Again, I still don't want to let him get away with that. And it's possible that he has Asia because even if he had it, there was a long time during this turn that he just wasn't able to drop it because that would just lose him the game. So I will play around that at least a little bit. Okay, he gets Sadat and no Asia, unfortunately. Do we get a reshuffle? I think we do. Okay, I got Asia. Okay, I got all the good cards. This is really, really good. Cards have been really good for me this game. He got Voice. He got Colonials. He got Panama. He got Nixon. He got Duck and Cover. His hand is really good too. He has nothing to complain about. Like, in abstract he wouldn't have, but I still got Junta and Brush, which is like the classic. Okay, so we just had exactly the reshuffle. So I know his hand. So he's headlining Duck, Colonials, Panama, Nixon or Voice. Looking at the state of Asia, it's probably voice, which I could counter with Quag. Quag is fine. He will drop OPEC or something like that, but then he loses a decent space target, which is actually not bad. And if he stays there for a while, then I could go crazy in Asia. Well, maybe not, because shuttle prevents my control, so even if I take Japan, I don't get it. So maybe not that good. So maybe Junta's better, since we know he doesn't have defectors. The problem with Junta is that I will probably be busy repairing the damage done by colonials and voice. So if I fail the roll, I may not be able to take advantage of what happened. It's tough. Okay, this hand is not as good as I thought. It's really good, it's really strong, it's just... His hand is good too, and mine kind of relies on rolling well. And I am worried what happens if I fail. Well, Junta is never a bad headline as the USSR, so I could just go for it and see what happens. How useful can Brush get? I cannot target Italy anyway, so I guess I want to go for Junta first to do some mayhem in Americas, and then decide what to do with Brush depending on the success of Junta or the lack of it. Also, he has UN intervention, so him discarding OPEC to Quag is not that painful. Oh man. And I may have to birch up myself at some point. Okay, Junta is really flexible. I think I will just go for Junta. Duck and cover. This is absolutely fine. This is totally okay. I will go for Panama, Guatemala, and take it. Okay, he goes for space immediately, knowing very well that I have a lot of cards I would like to space myself. I will take this opportunity to drop Asia before he damages me with the Voice of America. Ask Not is not very damaging to me, so if I go to space with Grain, I give up Puppets and Kennedy and hold Bear Trap. This is not very bad. Alright. He's not rich, he just has a lot of good events. And he has Nixon anyway. So technically speaking, playing the China card right now is not bad. It would have been better before cultural. I think that may have been the mistake I made. I think instead of playing Latin American death squads to Panama, I could have played 2 to Panama and 2 to Germany with China. But since I haven't, I will kind of pay the price for that. Now I think I can take the Iran... Or actually, no, I don't care about it anymore. Because there will be more cards to come that care about Iran. So I will just go for West Germany. Unless I want to play around the voice somehow. I think he will play the voice on AR7. I need to play Brush for an event. Okay, actually, let's just do... No, I want to put at least 2 into West Germany, so he can take it with his cards. So I want to take Nigeria and let's say Uruguay. So now I can hold Bear Trap and Puppets, Space Grain, and give up Kennedy at some point and do something interesting with Quack and Brush. I need Millops, so Brush will be evented. Okay, he gives up Arby's Rally War. This is interesting because now he has no good cards to throw into Quag. So now if he was planning to play Voice on AR7, I can stop him with Quag. However, he may surprise me if he does that earlier. So I will event Quagmire this turn, and I want to give Kennedy later. And I will event Brush, and I will Space Grain. So now the roles are assigned. I will start with Spacing Grain, as it's the most flexible play. Right now he'll probably take West Germany, maybe with Panama Canal, maybe with something else. He may as well just play UN intervention for an op. Okay. He decides to play Nixon for ops after I played the China card. This is understandable. Now the only cards he can throw into Quag are Colonials and the Voice. And both of those are a good deal for me, so I will just play Quag. And if he fails the first roll, I'm killing 2 of his best cards just for my 1 Quagmire, so I will absolutely go for this. Colonials will be thrown here, I assume. Then I brush with something and then give him Kennedy. Yeah, colonials are gone. I think Mexico has the biggest impact. Normally I would go for something else, but since I rolled crazy well in Guatemala, I think it's wise to take advantage of that, because Mexico is now a very safe country for me, which it usually isn't for the USSR. Panama event, yep. And now he probably doesn't discard anything, and then he plays the Voice. Right, so there is no real way to defend against everything here. I could just ignore this and go for the West Germany play. Which honestly I will. Wait, what? Oh yeah, because... yeah, sure. I think it's still fine. There's no way he chooses to not play Voice now. I mean, unless he wants to play UN intervention to retake West Germany, but I really doubt that. I will just do that because if I get Europe scoring, I can headline it with some hopes of getting away with a free Europe scoring, which is not to be expected in my position on the map right now. Okay, he goes for central. This is understandable. Whoa! This is a very red hand. And a very good hand. And I don't even care if I get purged. I care if I see the factors on the other side. But I'll still go for aims. Terrorism, okay, I'm glad I went for aims. And let's see. Useless. Useless. This is really good, this is really good, this is really good. This is questionably good, this is useless, and UN intervention is of limited use. UN intervention is not that good. Glasnost is even better as an event. Flower power is harmless. And if I discard anything but the UN, he will have to skip a turn. I mean an action round. So I think it's basically between Flower Power, Glasnost, Arms Race and Missile Envy. Missile Envy is not that harsh. And he may not even play it. Arms Race is kind of scary, but since I know he has it, I can play around it a bit. And Glasnost is just brutal, but it gives me 2 VPs, and getting VPs at this stage of the game is really good for me. So do I prefer him to have a Flower Power? That's almost a generic 4-up at this point. Well, it's not really. Indo-Pakistani war is still there, and Iran-Iraq war is still there. And he has Korean war, so that's an inconvenience for him anyway. Okay, let's get rid of Arms Race. If he wants to get the ABM, he will have to pay me 2 VPs. No. That's sad. Whatever. I think the obvious choice is to just coup Panama. Alright, let's pressure him immediately. Okay, he immediately gives up Flower Power. That was my goal. This means that now Korean War is really costly for him, which is a great news. I will immediately attack Cuba, because now it looks like the fate of Central is kind of dependent on it. He may of course go to space with Korea, but that gives me at least some information about his intention. I have to be careful about spacing Bear Trap. because then missile envy becomes a problem. Alright. He uses UN with Glasnost, this is fine. That means he will either skip a round or give me a China card. Both of those options are really tempting. Now he has a good opportunity to just take Cuba with China. Not sure if that's a good play, but he could do that. Okay, so now he doesn't have a good way of taking Cuba anyway, unless he wants to realign it with Summit, which he's free to try. I will use this moment to space bear trap. Okay, that's great. Of course, I will give puppets if needed. I mean, if not needed, I will give puppets anyway, I guess. It's not like I have a choice now. I assume he will go for Haiti and Nicaragua and probably Saudi with it. Really? That's really interesting. How are you gonna get your MILOPS, sir? Or are you not gonna get them at all? Okay, let's take a run now, I guess. Okay, I'm really interested to see if he uses the China card to coup and on the battleground. I would like to see that. Okay, that makes sense. I do not really care. I will now realign Argentina. And let's see what he does with the China card. Nothing. Well, okay. That looks like game to me. Oh, yeah, I should have headlined Cuban Missile Crisis, my bad. I will use it now to coup Mexico. Okay, GG. Alright, I feel like I had a pretty significant luck advantage in this game, especially distal, which allowed me to grab a lot of land without any response. I got all three power cards in the mid-war, so this was a really tough game for the USA. Well, that's a good that's a good change of tune after the game in the Evergreen final I've played against Kasia lately, which you may have seen or may be able to see soon on ARZ channel. So I wouldn't say I recommend you go watch that, but if you're interested in it first, that's the place where you can find it. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I will see you next time.